Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the God Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are having a fantastic day, wherever you are around the world. And welcome back to, again, another Liverpool news episode for you guys this evening. Sorry, Sha, I thought there was somebody knocking my door. But how are we? Hopefully, all of you are good. Hopefully, everyone's well. And yeah, we do have a bit of news to discuss, of course, tonight. Of course, we're going to discuss Alexander Isak and the whole. Well, I say rumours. It's more speculation, of course, at the minute with Alexander Isak, of course, because again, there's been no yes or no's in terms of, again, will Alexander Isak, leave Newcastle this summer? Of course, we're going to discuss everything in due course, and of course, we're going to talk about more. Of course, away from, I keep on saying, of course, apologies, chat. We're going to discuss more regarding other things. We'll talk about Florian Wirtz, of course. We're going to get his medical done and over the line on Friday, potentially. Again, so look, we're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss Milos Kerkez. Hopefully this deal will get done and hopefully over the line very, very quickly. And of course, we're going to kickstart the show talking about Darwin Nunez. Looks like he could potentially be going to Napoli as well. So let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section down below, of course. But again, like we said, we're going to just start the show with Darwin Nunez. And again, now, of course, it is taken from Anfield Sector, but it was Fabrizio Romano who did break the news. I believe it was yesterday or the day before regarding Napoli's interest in Darwin, saying, but they're breaking. Napoli have moved from phone calls to serious, direct and concrete contacts for Darwin Nunez. They are working on the operation, which it's a bit of a mad one, isn't it? Again, Darwin Nunez, it doesn't look like he's going to go to Saudi. It looks like his preference is to stay in Europe. Again, I think Fabrizio Romano has spoken very highly on Darwin Nunez and in terms of Italian clubs, in terms of even Spanish clubs. I think those Atletico Madrid rumors are still circulating around that, that they are, firmly interested in him. And I think, obviously, I said it on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, yesterday, that for me, the only way or the only fee I think we'll end up getting, or the maximum we'll get for Darwin Nunez, is around £40 million, because you look at the European market, you look at how, for me, the Saudi Pro League, if he'd gone to the Saudis, you would have been looking at 60, 70 million pounds. But again, there's nobody in Europe that's going to cough that out, really. And I look at that and go, well, if 70 million is the max in terms of Saudi, what's the max in terms of Europe? And I think that is around 40 million pounds, because again, with Darwin Nunez, there is so much uncertainty with his striking ability, because again, we know the player that is there, we know the type of player that's there with Darwin Nunez, and we know how good he can be on certain days, but he's not consistent. And I think that is the sticking point, really, where Liverpool have to kind of get over, really, where I think, again, if Darwin Nunez had bagged goals after goals and look, Liverpool were just getting rid of him because, again, it's not worked out, like it hasn't. But that's the problem. Darwin Nunez is leaving Liverpool because he can't score goals. And that's, of course, a major problem for a striker. And again, to get £40 million for him, I think would be a great deal in Europe. Again, do I think we should probably get more for him? Yes. But I think in terms of the circumstances, I just think that's the highest you're going to get for him. In my honest opinion, I don't think you could get any more if you tried. And I think that's it's a shame, and it is absolutely a shame, because look, for me, I still think Darwin Nunez has the capabilities of a great striker. I do. Like, again, he has the pace, he has the power, but there is something there with Darwin where it doesn't click, or all the time, like nothing comes together at one point. There's always something missing, and that for me is the one where you have to think about it on a long-term prospect. It's we've been there now with Darwin Nunez. We've tried and experimented, because now it's not only one manager that's now struggled with Darwin is now 2 managers that have struggled with Darwin Nunez. And with Arne Slot, it's a manager who really wanted to keep him at the football club to get the best out of him, and it's quite clear Liverpool and the relationship with Darwin Nunez has kind of gone downhill. Ever since the whole rumours of maybe he's available for or the the €5 million extra. Of course, Darwin tweeting out or posting about that. Again, the relationship has soured. Not a terrible amount, because again, there's still respect there between Liverpool and Darwin Nunez. But again, the relationship is quite clear that Darwin is going. Like there's no getting anything back from it. Then really, he will be leaving Liverpool at the end of the season. I say at the end of the season, it is the end of the season, but you know what I mean. He will be leaving this summer, 100%. And I wonder whether or not, again, we're willing to happily take a we're happily going to take a loss to then move on and go and get the striker that we all think we could possibly get, of course, anyway. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts down below as well. And let me know your guys' thoughts. Do you think Darwin will go to Napoli? Because I think it's a real prospect. Again, Serie A, going to the champions, of course, they have money because, of course, they sold Kvaratskhelia. I know, of course, they've just signed Kevin De Bruyne, but still, they've got money to spend in the transfer window. So don't let that, be a lie, really, where they come out now in a couple of days' time and go, oh yeah, we haven't got the money for Darwin. It's like, hang on a minute, you sold Kvaratskhelia for 90 odd million euros in January, so you have money. Anyway, but again, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments. And I apologize if the stream is lagging or anything, but let me know in the chat if it is. For some reason, it says it's flickering back and forth on StreamYard. So again, it might just be a StreamYard problem, not a YouTube problem. But somebody can let me know in the chat. Be very much appreciated. I just don't get him. How can you brace against Newcastle in a critical moment, then miss the next 10 chances? Yeah, that's Darwin Nunez in a nutshell, as in a Scouser. I'm hopefully doing well as well, mate. Big up Manuel saying, mate, just a thought. We sell Nunez, Jota, Dan's, Elliott plus cash. We buy Osimhen and Isak. We won't do that. Number one, we're not selling Jadon Dan's. Again, he's a one for the future, of course. But then buy another cover centre back, another winger, and another centre mid. By the way, smash that like button if you could. Yeah, if you could, very much appreciate it as always. Excuse me, I always get hiccups on stream, which is horrible. Big up Ian as well, saying Darwin has physical abilities, but does not have the footballing brain and lacks composure in front of goal. Can be a scorer of great goals rather than great goal scorer, unfortunately, as well. Yeah, I would agree with that 1,000%. And that the problem is with Nunez is that, isn't it? Is the fact that it will be interesting to see if Jurgen Klopp couldn't do it, really. Arne Slot hasn't been able to get the best out of him. I wonder if Antonio Conte could do something with him. Now, if Conte can't get anything out of him, then again, I just don't think there is. I don't think there is a good enough striker in there, or a good enough player really in there, because we look at the track record with Antonio Conte. Again, I think, when he worked with Harry Kane, Harry Kane scored, obviously scoring multiple goals beforehand, but again, was getting the best out of him. Obviously, you look at Romelu Lukaku in this area. Lukaku literally got removed to Chelsea because of how good he was playing under Antonio Conte. And again, you look at this summer, or this season just gone, of course, using Lukaku again, again for Napoli, playing a more 4-4-2. That's the type of style that might, it might get Darwin Nunez to tick, because I've said it to you guys, in my opinion, I think in the Serie A, I think he'd do amazingly, but that's the problem. It's like how many teams are going to come in for him? Again, there's AC Milan, there's Napoli. I personally, I think AC Milan are going to go after Vlahovic, and they're going to have to kind of do a deal like that. But again, Napoli to Darwin, I think it makes a lot of sense, especially now you've got somebody like a Kevin De Bruyne in your team as well. Like, again, they're most likely going to have a midfield two of McTominay and Kevin De Bruyne, which would be mental. Or they could even go 4-4-1-1, which could be an interesting formation change anyway. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts on Darwin Nunez and a possible move to Napoli as well anyway. But we will move on to Milos Kerkez. Of course, we've been saying for a while now that it is a done deal. But of course, now it does look very, very likely. Bournemouth today did confirm they have signed his replacement, of course, from the French league. And look, it's now a matter of time before we do get the news with Milos Kerkez. Of course, Mark Douglas reporting on it earlier on today, saying that Liverpool closing in on agreement for Milos Kerkez. Talks now advance at the advanced stage over 40 to 45 million package. Timeline outlined in piece below. And of course, it does go on to say in the article piece that, again, pretty much the deal is agreed. It is just structure that is the main talking point. Once again, similar to how the whole Florian Wirtz conversation had been over the last week or two in terms of the structure. We've got the deal done, but it is just mainly the overall price, and again the structure and the add-ons taken up to it once again. So I think, look, we are definitely going to get possibly a Milos Kerkez. Here we go. Tomorrow, maybe, or even Wednesday. I'd say most likely Wednesday. But I think the overall consensus is, look, Milos Kerkez is a Liverpool player. Everyone's been discussing it haven't they, for the last week and a half, 2 weeks. And look, even now it's more apparent than ever that realistically we're going to have a Milos Kerkez. Here we go to Liverpool very, very soon, because look, he's not talking to anyone. Personal terms are already agreed, and look, it's just the structure. It'll be around £40 million. It wouldn't be surprising if it is £40 million guaranteed, taking it up to 45 million, possibly over time. As well. It'll be very, very interesting indeed anyway. But in terms of the Milos Kerkez things, it is done. By the looks of things, it is just payment structure being discussed between Liverpool and Bournemouth as of things right now, of course. And again, we will talk about Andy Robertson in a moment, of course, because again, looks like even with Andy Robbo, it does look like, again, it could be a couple of days' time where that deal is also confirmed with Atletico Madrid as well. Anyway, but let me get back into the comments before I read any more. What else we have? All right, quality centre-back for Fofana in the... Fofana, who's that? I don't even know who that is. Manuel and Isak spearhead that is realistic. Again, I'm not too sure who that is. Unfortunately, if Robbo goes, it is a downgrade on him staying with Kerkez compared to Simicas' backup. His position as well. I think, like I've said to multiple people that I can't see us replacing both fullbacks. But the more I say that, the more I'm like, the more I personally say it, I kind of go like, well, it wouldn't be the strangest thing in the world for Liverpool to do it. Like, I know everybody turns around and goes, oh, well, Liverpool could go and get Joel Hatto. He'd be a backup centre-half and also a backup left-back. And it's like, okay, great. It sounds amazing that Liverpool could do that. But is Joel Hatto going to be interested in doing that? I'm not so sure. Look, Liverpool do have one advantage. Of course, they have Arne Slot. They have, all the Dutch lads, including Virgil van Dijk, who Joel Hatto apparently idolizes, and Virgil van Dijk is a massive fan of his as well. But I look at that and go, it's that cross point, really, isn't it? Where for me, I think, I personally thought we would have kept Robbo for one more year, maybe let him see out his contract, and then he'd go on a free transfer. But yeah, it's a definite weird position to be in at the moment. But added to Mamadashvili, Frimpong, and Kerkez and Wirtz as well from Manuel as well. But for me, I would turn around and say that I think Liverpool will sign now a centre half to also cover left back, because I think we get rid of Costas and Robbo now. Because again, the more and more I say it, the more I think it. If Robbo was staying, I think we look for a full out centre half, like a Slotterbeck or someone of that caliber. But yeah, I think Joel Hatto is it is the one, isn't it, where you look at it and go, he fits the profile perfectly. But for me at the moment, I kind of look at it and go, would Joel Hatto want that type of role? Would he want to be Virgil van Dijk's backup? And also, would he want to be backup to Milos Kerkez? I'm not necessarily sure with that. And as well, it depends on what other teams are offering as well at the moment, because it's not only, of course, Liverpool interested in him. There's what is it? You've got Chelsea also involved. Spurs are looking at him as well. And of course, these teams can offer Champions League football as of right now. Of course, Arsenal will be looking at him. Because they always look at, the players like this. Look at Calaflori last year. Did they really need Calaflori? No, they really didn't need him, did they? So yeah, I think it's an interesting one for sure to see what will happen. But yeah, Hatto as well. Pick up Baz. Hopefully doing well. 100% price point as well. Yeah, I think again, ideally you'd want to be paying like 30 million for him. But I don't know whether or not Ajax are going to accept that either. And I think Johnny Heitinga would want to keep him for one more year and then sell him on, in my opinion, anyway. But I think so. He's 19. Yeah, he is young. But I don't know. It's a very interesting one, isn't it? But I think if a big team come in for him, I would, I think he might go somewhere else that can give him first team football for sure anyway. But I agree, if Robbo goes, still sell Tsimikas. Hatto would be my go to fantastic prospect and project with versatility too. Yeah, absolutely. Wesley Fofana from Chelsea. No, I wouldn't want Fofana at Chelsea. And also, Manuel, I don't think Chelsea would even entertain that, because he is, well, I don't think Liverpool would entertain it. One, he's injury prone, and two, they're going to ask like 60 million for him, or what they paid for him, which was about 50-60 million quid. So I personally don't think that's going to happen, mate. Unfortunately not. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see on what happens anyway. But let's get on then to Florian Wirtz now. Of course, we are waiting for his medical. We are waiting for him to become an official Liverpool player. If you ask FootMob, of course, he is already technically a Liverpool player, but his medical is booked in now. David Ornstein from The Athletic reporting on this earlier on today, saying that Florian Wirtz expected to arrive in the UK later this week. Current plan for medical Friday before completing transfer from Bayer Leverkusen to Liverpool. Fee of £100 million guaranteed, plus £60 million in add-ons to Bayer Leverkusen. Obviously proposed a 5-year contract with Liverpool as well, which again, it's great news. Of course, he is cutting his holiday short to do this news, or to obviously sign for Liverpool, which is great news for us. Look, it shows that he is keen for the move to be done. And again, the rumours are he's going to come, have his medical, then leave, go back on holiday once again. So look, all good in that aspect of things. So yeah, it will be Florian Friday, which will be the entire news Friday morning and for Friday afternoon as well. Whether or not, again, it will get announced on Friday, I think that's another question mark. But again, as long as everything is signed, I don't think anyone's asked, if I'm being perfectly honest. But yeah, I would, again, be excited on Friday. Even Thursday, we might have a few images of him flying into Liverpool. And yeah, well, it would be very funny, wouldn't it, if we just woke up on Friday, deal done, signed in the shirt, ready to go for next season, which would be amazing anyway. But still, I think people are not ready for this signing. He is going to absolutely destroy the Premier League. Absolutely, he is. And look, I look at it and go, we're going to do a more in-depth video on him coming up soon on the channel. For me, I think he's unbelievable. I think he is what, again, Manchester City thought their Kevin De Bruyne was going to be, or what their Kevin De Bruyne replacement was going to be. But again, Florian Wirtz is going to be absolutely special in the Premier League, and I cannot wait to see what he does in a Liverpool shirt as well. Absolutely cannot wait. But big up Buzz says, do you think Isak is a realistic target this summer, or will depend on who we sell? Well, we'll get on to Isak in just a little bit. But yeah, a little bit excited with the whole Isak stuff. But I'm so excited by this signing. Yeah, it's a great signing. Like, he is, like, we said it last week, didn't we? That Liverpool don't tend to do these deals. Liverpool are absolutely just, watch these types of signings go, every single summer. We did it with Caicedo too late. Haaland going to City. And over the years, we've watched other teams go and buy either the quote next best thing, or is currently in their prime or going into their prime years. And now Liverpool are doing it. And Liverpool have not only done it, they've also done it while other clubs are trying to get him as well. It's not like if Liverpool have had unlike I would say, like the Jeremy Frimpong deal, where Liverpool, walked in and it was done. Jeremy Frimpong said yep to Liverpool straight away, no other conversation without any other teams. But Liverpool had to fight alongside Manchester City and Bayern Munich an Arne Slot plan and vision for the football club, and with Florian Wirtz, just outshun both Pep Guardiola and Vincent Kompany at Bayern Munich and Manchester City. So again, what is he offering that the other two are not offering? And I think it's the number 10 position. I think, again, Florian Wirtz in the Germany team, again, has been playing as the number 10 when called upon. You look at, obviously, the past couple of internationals, he's been the shining light for Germany, where I think, without obviously Musiala and other players in that team, Wirtz is the shining light. Absolutely, he is. And I also think, look, Manchester City can't offer him what, Liverpool were going to do. And I find it quite funny how Man City's PR is like, oh yeah, no, we can't do the deal. It's going to cost around £300 million, and we're not willing to do it. It's like, no, he turned you down. Like, instead of like saying, oh no, we didn't lose this race. Like, no, you did. You 100% did. You lost to Florian Wirtz because he didn't want to join you. He wanted to join Liverpool Football Club instead, which again, absolutely the right decision, in my opinion, at least anyway. But yeah, absolutely agree, Baz. But love to know if Frimpong and Wirtz had talks with Alonso about life at Liverpool. Well, I think the leaks that come out from Florian Wirtz's conversations with the football club, of course, when we played Bayer Leverkusen last season, both Jeremy Frimpong and Florian Wirtz, I think, obviously had talks with people in and around Liverpool at the time. And of course, they went to the AXA training ground, which I think left a long, a long-standing memory in their minds, and going like, oh, look at this great facility. Look at how life is at Liverpool. And again, supposedly this deal has been in the works since January with Florian Wirtz. With Jeremy Frimpong, I think it's been around that time as well. I think January, February time was when we kind of went in for the move, because again, we knew or had the inkling that Trent was going to be leaving to Real Madrid. Or sorry, let me change my words. The Trent was snaking Liverpool to go to Real Madrid. So yeah, in my opinion, I think Liverpool knew, and of course tried to do these deals and try and again put their foot on it. And that's the thing, right? Where again, we're going to talk about Isak in a minute, but I think now with every single top name being linked to Liverpool, there is that question mark now of Liverpool putting their foot firmly, on the gas and going, look, this is the team to come to. You've currently got Alisson Becker, who's the best goalkeeper in the world. You've got Virgil van Dijk. You've got Mo Salah, Florian Wirtz. Again, come and be our number 9. Come and be the player that's going to have the support from Mohamed Salah and Florian Wirtz. You've got Alexis McAllister also involved in the team. You've got now Milos Kerkez, who was the best left back in the league last season. And again, how old is Milos Kerkez? What, 21, 22? Like, he's going to absolutely tear this league up in many years to come as well. Absolutely. But potentially, so anyway. But big up Martin saying, have you ever seen him play? Who's this? Florian Wirtz. Well, I've watched, again, apart from all the compilations and obviously the extended highlights and that, total 90s I've watched. Liverpool, obviously when we played them, watched him against Bayern Munich, watched him against Dortmund, watched him for Germany in the Euros. And again, I think he's an absolute baller. I think he's without a doubt the best 10 in Europe. I think, again, the only names in the conversation, again, him, Musiala, people, again, will put Bellingham in the 10 role, Pedri as well. He is among the best in Europe and the best in the world in that position. And again, in my opinion, I think he is the best number 10 in the world as well. Where else we go? Big up Mark saying it'd be great to get these signings done. Yeah, absolutely, it would do. Gotta get them over the line at some point as well. But are we more aggressive now because of Edwards, Hughes, or just to back slot? I think all of it. I think there's I think what people kind of forget now is Michael Edwards is now he's the leader now of FSG, in terms of the football operation. And that's the exciting thing around it. Again, obviously, we know the sporting director is Richard Hughes, and that is fair enough. Richard Hughes is the leader in terms of Liverpool. Sporting director works with Arne Slot day in, day out. And, they work together to push the transfers forward. But again, I think the importance of how Michael Edwards is in this new role. I think if he wasn't in the role, Liverpool don't get Florian Wirtz. In my opinion, I don't think we do. I think it's a combination of all three. I think it's a combination of Slot, Richard Hughes, and Michael Edwards, really. But I think if this current regime wasn't in put in place, we don't get Florian Wirtz because we don't do this type of deal, in my opinion. But again, that's just my thoughts. But Edwards is moving and shaking these deals. Yeah, absolutely, he is. Sensible wage agreement with Wirtz at around 200k per week. Obviously, it's way beyond this as well. Yeah, the realistic thing with Wirtz is that he will, say he has an amazing now 2 seasons for Liverpool, he will get a contract extension within that time as well. Absolutely, he will do. So yeah, 100%. But you can see how we treat our players and how we have done these. Have done this season speaks wonders. The fan base and the club too as well. Yeah, absolutely. Xavi Alonso and Trent, both rats. I wouldn't put Alonso in that category. He's a rat for going to Madrid, but joking aside, Trent is the only one. Maybe Pep Linders too. Yeah, Pep Linders as well. Ow. Oh, excuse me. Do you know when you chat for so long and have really sharp hiccups? Yeah, it's terrible chat. Drunk says Wirtz wants Isak. Well, hopefully. Yeah, Liverpool want Isak too. that's the hopeful dream. But Isak would be great too. Yeah, absolutely, he would. Was he good against us? We beat them 4-0 Don't get me wrong, I'm 100% sure he will be great. Individually, he was good. He wasn't, again, on the night, he wasn't great. But then I think many people forget that him and Frimpong set it up a goal that was offside. And that was a very good, a very good combination between the both of them as well. So, yeah, look, again, it's a bit hard to judge them from one game, and that's why I say watch multiple 90 minutes of theirs, because look at Alisson, for example. Alisson conceded, was it 7 or 8 goals against us in the Champions League when we went to the final in Kiev. And look, we know how good Alisson Becker is now, of course. So yeah, always do research and look at multiple games. That's what I would say for every player, for sure. But Martin saying, hoping we have some of the Coutinho money left for Isak. Maybe you might shake the jar down just a little bit for Alexander Isak. But but the players will thrive in our team. Yeah, absolutely, and as well. But big up TD saying, is Isak next? Well, we'll get on to him now for you guys anyway. So yeah, Florian Wirtz medical will be on Friday as well, which is great news, of course, as well. But getting on to Alexander Isak now then, because again, you guys are asking, of course, more and more in the chat. So the latest news we have on Alexander Isak is as simple as this. Now, Alex Crook, I believe, did mention this morning that Liverpool was still keeping a very close eye on the Alexander Isak situation. And of course, the dream target for Liverpool is Alexander Isak. Now, it's not just, again, him reporting on this. Fabrizio Romano, about 2 hours ago, also on Instagram, I think it's Instagram Threads, I think it is as well, saying that Alexander Isak has been Liverpool's dream target since day one, but it remains complicated. Now, the one thing I would say to this is as simple as this. If somehow, Newcastle would accept £130 million, I think Liverpool would go for it. In my honest opinion, I think Liverpool would go for it. Which, again, that's a whole debate in itself. But if you're going to ask me right now, for my personal opinion on who I think Liverpool will sign as their number 9, I think Alexander Isak is in that conversation. Even with Liverpool spending, the amount we have done for Florian Wirtz. Now, Lewis Steele has also come out and said that Newcastle don't want to sell Alexander Isak for cheap. It will be a ballpark figure of around 130 to 140 million pounds. Are Liverpool realistically going to pay that in a summer where they have signed Florian Wirtz? Hard to see, but I wouldn't completely rule it out. So that's Lewis Steele's words. Now, what I personally think is, on the one hand, Liverpool have Alexander Isak on their mind, and on another mind, they have got Hugo Ekitike. Now, I think the realistic one is him. I personally do think that. Out of the two, I would like Alexander Isak because we know more. We know more of what he does for in the Premier League than, let's say, because again, we've seen him over the last 2 seasons be brilliant for Newcastle. But I think the realistic target is Hugo Ekitike. Now, both profiles are very similar. You guys have seen in the past where I've shown you guys multiple, comparisons to Hugo Ekitike and Alexander Isak. Now, for me, I think the dream for Liverpool is Isak. I absolutely do think that. I think Liverpool, would do everything to get Alexander Isak if he did become available. But I just think the realistic target is Hugo Ekitike. I think the whole plot around, again, Liverpool, not only Liverpool being interested, but Again, Manchester United, Chelsea, these types of teams being spoken about very highly in terms of the, not only Liverpool, but multiple Premier League teams after Hugo Ekitike. And I think for the price point, if Liverpool can get the Ekitike deal down, which, at the moment is getting spoken around 100 million euros, which is like, what, 85 million pounds? I think we are going to go for Hugo Ekitike this summer. But the Isak deal, quite ironically, has gone from being impossible to, what I said just now in terms of complicated. And the one thing I would say is that the Florian Wirtz deal a couple of weeks back, that was getting spoken about how that was impossible, and how Liverpool couldn't do that, and that's what I would say, and keep an open mind on, because Liverpool already this summer have been told one deal is impossible to do. The Florian Wirtz deal is impossible. He's going to go to Bayern Munich. If he's not going to Bayern Munich, he's going to Manchester City. Liverpool walk in, they get the deal done. Now, this is the other point where I'm trying to make in terms of, for Alexander Isak, again, he's in contract with Newcastle. Newcastle have just won a trophy. They've just got Champions League football as well. On paper, it's an impossible deal to get done. But Liverpool have done impossible deals in the past with Alexander, with other players. Look at, there's been deals done in the past at Liverpool you'd never think Liverpool would end up doing. And that's what I'm saying. I think for me personally, I think it's going to need Alexander Isak to say, look, I want to move to Liverpool. Or there has to be some communication from Alexander Isak that goes, look, I want to be a Liverpool player. I want to take the next step in my career, even though, again, Newcastle in the Champions League again. But realistically, when you look at, the Premier League title and in terms of titles and other things, Liverpool is the next step up. And I think it's going to need to take Alexander Isak to do that type of deal. Again, is he going to force his way out of Newcastle? No, I don't think he is going to do that. I think he's a bit more respectful than what other players would do in the past. But for me, I think, in my honest opinion, it's going to need to take that. Excuse me. I think you'll have to have him pushing for the deal, and also then Liverpool's willingness then to go up to 100+ million pounds. Or is there even a conversation that you add a player to this type of deal? But I do think it will be between, for Liverpool, for the striker position, I do think it will be. I'm bold, but I look very bold then. But I do think it will be either Alexander Isak or it will be Hugo Ekitike, I think, for Liverpool personally. But again, that's just my opinion. It's not anything in the know or anything like that. But yeah, in my opinion, I think it will be between them two. I think it'll be either Isak or it will be Hugo Ekitike for Liverpool, in my honest opinion, anyway. But 130 mil for Isak, that's crazy money. Yeah, it's not ours though, is it? To be fair, won't be Isak, will be someone form. Martin, what do you mean by that? Let me quickly go down. Building our team will turn players' heads. Yeah, absolutely. From Portuguese/France type league as well. Well, again, Hugo Ekitike, kind of. Isak is class, but given massive financial outlay, he has had many muscle strain issues, particularly with his groin. And is this a concern? Possibly. Again, there's question marks, isn't it? And again, Liverpool might look at it and go, well, with his injury history, they may look at someone else. But I think, I want to know your guys' thoughts. But for me, if it isn't Isak or Ekitike, who else could it be? The only other player in my mind that could change Liverpool's ways is Julian Alvarez. He's the only other one on my list anyway that would be amazing for Liverpool. Absolutely would be. But sell Nunez 60 mil, get Isak 130. Just think of it, because spending 70 mil to get Isak, It's a no-brainer as well from Hawk alone. But yeah, it would be an interesting one, wouldn't it? Would you do a straight Nunez for Victor Osimhen? Romano reported that Napoli is in concrete talks with Liverpool for Nunez. Well, we spoke about Nunez earlier on, didn't we? In my opinion, no. I wouldn't take Victor Osimhen for me personally. But I know many people would bite their hand off for Victor Osimhen to be in a Liverpool shirt next season. But yeah, no, I personally wouldn't, in my opinion. But Isak carrying Newcastle. I don't think he's carrying him by himself, but yeah, I think because again, I think that midfield three is still very, very good. I really do. What else do we have? I take Isak over Ekitike. Isak is a master with the football, and he is way more technical than Ekitike will ever be. I kind of would disagree with that slightly. I think Isak is now the finished article. I think Liverpool know what they're buying then really for Alexander Isak. It's not like we're guessing with him. It's not like if Liverpool are going right, we don't know what we're going to kind of get from him. Now, what I kind of go back to is, for me, Hugo Ekitike is very much what Alexander Isak was when he moved from Dortmund to Sociedad. Again, Ekitike failed at PSG, moved away from there, went to Frankfurt, and now has developed into a striker that a lot of teams want. Same with Alexander Isak. Isak didn't do great at Borussia Dortmund, failed there really. Went to Real Sociedad, gained then a reputation of being a very good striker. And then, of course, the rest was history then. Arsenal were linked to him, Liverpool were linked with him back in the day. And Newcastle ended up getting him, and it turned out to be a very, very good transfer. Isak has an Ekitike in each leg. Jesus Christ! Why do the barcodes need to sell? Given they at the barcodes, Jesus Christ! Given their Champions League status, they probably don't. That's the other thing. But again, nobody knows really with PSR. I don't think Newcastle are any problems with PSR, by the way, but yeah, I don't think so. I don't think they need to personally sell, but who knows? Isak is 2 steps up from Ekitike, and money is similar, mate. Nah, Isak is truly special. Ekitike is Nunez 2.0. Could potentially be. Again, you are buying Ekitike for potential. Of course we are. Peter P is like left Newcastle. Jesus Christ. What throwback by this guys. Anyway, but no, like Ekitike is firmly, again, another player that you are 100% buying potential. Again, you kind of are knowing what he's going to do, but I think wherever Ekitike goes, I think give it a season or two, and he would be what Isak is now. In my opinion, I think he could 100% be that player. And of course, there is absolutely the realistic possibility where it might be the other way around. He may end up being absolutely terrible. But again, at the moment, if we're talking about established strikers, they're not really available on the market unless you are paying ridiculous money, which Liverpool could be doing for Alexander Isak. But again, it's ifs and buts at the minute, isn't it? There's no concrete interest there, or no concrete, again, wording at the minute from anyone. But again, the official word from people like Fabrizio Romano is, again, the dream target is Alexander Isak for Liverpool. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But actually, Beasley at the time was an electric signing that made Liverpool on paper incredible, which turned out to be true in 87, 88 as well. Yes, absolutely. Let me quickly scroll back up. The longer Newcastle and Isak remain quiet, the more I think this is happening as well. Well, they are signing João Pedro, aren't they? And a lot of people have kind of taken that and gone, well, they're 100% selling Isak. And I just don't think that signing makes them need to sell Isak. Like, look, he is realistically now the backup for Alexander Isak. But the other thing is they are offering Callum Wilson a new contract. So with that being said, it's kind of like, well, they could do one and off a dozen the other then, really. But I think it's 100% interesting to see what could happen anyway. But Ekatike scares me, mate. He's more like Nunez 2.0. Victor Osimhen fascinates me, mate. He's way underrated. I don't rate. Not so much I don't rate Victor Osimhen. I think Victor Osimhen would be Lukaku 2.0 in the Premier League. Lukaku at Chelsea. Let's just say that. Really, I don't think he would. I just don't think he'd work in the Prem. But again, could be wrong. We will pay 80 to 100 million for Ekatike and have to wait 2 years for having a good striker. No, he's good now, but I mean, in terms of being, that great striker that we're all saying that Alexander Isak is, I think that's what we're talking about for sure. But also, what do you think of Lucho staying, since Barca will not go over 50 million euros? Saudis are quiet on him. Why wouldn't Liverpool extend Lucho? Because they probably just... The one advantage Liverpool have with Luis Diaz is the fact that he's on low wages, isn't he? And that's what Liverpool currently like around the whole Luis Diaz thing, is the fact they can keep him for 2 more years. And they don't have to pay, they don't have to extend his contract. And I think Liverpool are currently looking at replacements, because the one thing to kind of look at as well is that the reason why Barcelona are not going in for him is because they're going after Nico Williams. That will be getting done very, very soon, supposedly. But yeah, I think Lucho, I think next season will be going to Saudi. I think Liverpool will be looking for a new left winger next season. Whether or not that's, again, Barcola, Anthony Gordon, if Nico Williams doesn't leave for Barcelona this season, could it be Nico Williams next season? I think it'd be very interesting. Could even be Rodrigo next season as well. But come on, we are Liverpool. I don't this overrated Ekatike. He is rubbish. If we're a serious club, we pay the money for a top striker like Alvarez or Isak. I'm not saying that otherwise. I personally want Alvarez as my striker. Alvarez or Isak I can absolutely love, but I think Ekatike could also be really, really good. If France doesn't call up Ekatike to play for the national team, there's a reason for it. Come on, like they literally look how much talent they've got at the minute. France going up front, like Jesus Christ. Ryan Cherky's been wanked off more this week than any other player in European football over the last 2 weeks. More than Wirtz, more than any player. And he only just started for France. He only just had his national debut for France. Again, you sort of forget, he's 22? Like, again, look at the talent they've currently got. Like, their main striker is Kylian Mbappe at the moment. Of course, he's not going to start. Like, it's going to take like pointless national games for them to get a start and that. But yeah, each their own, really. But agree, don't see the hype for Ekatike, dude. Needs to really prove himself. Could do. We'll have to wait and see. We need Isak, Alvarez, or Osimhen. Again, don't like Victor Osimhen. I take Isak or Alvarez, 100%. Again, would love one of them too. But yeah, I just don't think. I don't think Osimhen would work in the Prem, in my opinion. Nico Williams is almost a done deal, mate. To Barca, I would take Isak 1, Alvarez 2. Again, would take both. I really don't care which one we take. But either one will be absolute boss. We don't say start, we wait. We were just being on the bench. Yeah, of course, he could be on. To be fair, he probably wasn't even on the bench, was he? But look, that time will come for many players. Again, was it... what was his name? What the hell was his name? Laporte. For example, Laporte literally changed nationality. Like, apart from Virgil van Dijk at one point, Emerick Laporte was probably the second or third best centre half in the world at one point. probably like around 2018, 2019. Never got a start for France, by the way. Had to move to Spain, had to move nationalities to Spain to get an international call up as well, which was mental because they kept on playing Titi and Varane as their two centre offs. Again, like there's so many like conversations now with England, for example. But yeah, I'm not. Again, I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't turn around and go like, "Oh, he's terrible." Again, the number one preference is Isak, Alvarez. These are the two names everybody wants. But then if they're not available, Liverpool need to bring in a striker. Because again, Liverpool can't rely on Diogo Jota all season long, unfortunately. In my opinion, anyway. But big up Kev as well, who's doing well, mate, saying I take Isak or Alvarez, even Ozyman or Hayward. But that was the crack lad as well. I'm good, Kev. Hopefully you're doing well as well. But evening, Kev, as well as Mark. And yeah, look, any other news, of course. And actually, let me check before we do shoot off if there is any more news in regards to Liverpool Football Club. Well, I actually say there's any more news. Apparently, there's an interview with Milos Kerkez saying that, again, favourite place to go last season was Anfield, which, again, is absolutely boss. But, yeah, either way. I take Isak Alvarez, even Ozyman. I personally wouldn't. Phone's messing up, lol, as well. No worries, Kev. Newcastle like Jota and Konza. Yeah, this is why I think with the whole Isak stuff, I think Liverpool could use a player involved to maybe get that price down. Again, could they do, a kind of a deal where Liverpool end up paying like 130 and then sell Joel Konza for £40 million, which kind of makes it like a £90 million deal. You never know. Really, but look, we'll have to wait and see what does happen. Anyway, but what else do we see? Who else do you think we will sell targets, mate? We got Nunez, Robbo. Who else? Also, Kanate is looking for close to 300k a week. That ain't happening. Would Liverpool consider a sale for him? On Kanate, yeah, like there's going to be a date coming very, very soon that Liverpool would, Liverpool are going to go up to and go, look, you have to sign or we are going to sell you. And at the minute, it's probably looking likely he's going to sign. But look, we thought that at one point with what, with Trent and, obviously we did get over Virgil and Mo, but, with Trent, we thought at one point and it didn't really happen. Because it didn't happen. So with Kanate, I think we will sign him up. In terms of outgoings, though, I think obviously we've let go of Callagher already. Konza, potentially, again, Costas and Robbo is another one. I think we end up keeping Joe Gomez because of his versatility. But yeah, I think Harvey is the other big one that Liverpool will look to as well. But would I pay 300k a week? No, I personally wouldn't. Because again, I think Ibu's good. Do I think he's 300k good? That's a different question entirely. Anyway, but look, we are going to leave it there for tonight, guys. Big thank you for everyone for tuning in to tonight's show. Anyway, tomorrow we're going to be taking a look at the squad. Again, if there's no news in regards to any transfer news, of course, we'll be live tomorrow taking a look at the squad. Again, here is the thumbnail for tomorrow's video. Of course, we're going to be taking a look at him. Of course, some people are not going to be happy with that striker. But I'm going to be taking a look at every individual to have a look at the squad as well and have a look who could be sold and who could end up staying. So yeah, that's going to be the video tomorrow for you guys. Should be around 8 p.m. Tomorrow, be a bit earlier than 9 p.m. anyway. But again, any other news will be live for it tomorrow. Again, hopefully, maybe there might be an Alexander Isak breaking news video tomorrow. Who knows? Anyway, but look, hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of your nights anyway. And yeah, I've been Connor from the Cop Council. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Ta-ra.